All right. Hello. Hi, everybody. Let me deal with my uh, technical things. Hi. Hello. 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 Okay. I hope everybody is doing well. Hope you're ready to paint. Um, okay. I see somebody from Chesterfield, Indiana, painting on the black background. Wonderful. This is exactly what we're doing today. I have Sam here. Hello. I have Kathy. Hi, Kathy. So good to see you here. So here's the thing, okay? So this Thursday, I did live. Oh, I forgot to grab it. Hold on just a second. So I did live, and we painted this one. We painted the teal background. Okay. So in the um, what am I saying here? In the description of this video, you will find the link that takes you to replay of the teal background, if that's what you wanted to do. And what happened really was that I got confused with my calendar, and I thought that that event was supposed to happen on Thursday. And then last night I was sitting down and I looked at my calendar and I was like, wait a second, what is this on Saturday? And so I went and I saw that actually this event is here today, not on Thursday. So I decided that today, live, I'm going to be painting the black background. But again, if you want to do the teal background, please go ahead and just jump over to that YouTube video. Feel free to put comments on that YouTube video if you have any questions. Feel free to maybe even send me a message if you have any questions. I will respond after I'm done with live here because I really can't jump back and forth. I can't be painting and responding to questions. But anyway, so you got the idea what happened, right? Cuckoo brain. All right, so let me see. Sam's enjoying cooler weather. Yes, me too. Hello from Minnesota. Kathy says, I wondered if I had missed something. Yeah. Hi, Laura. Yeah, we're painting Laura, we're painting the chapel. We're painting the Christmas chapel with the black background. Okay. So, okay, now I need to do the shameless plugin for this cup because everybody is right now is going crazy about what to get people for Christmas. Y'all, this is my design. The link is in my group. It's in the page. Just scroll a little bit. You will find it. So, lots of reasons to like this cup, but my favorite one is that you have the design on both sides so that if you're a lefty, you still get to enjoy it. If you're a righty, you still get to enjoy it. And really, no matter how, like in what direction it is placed on your table, you will still see that this is not paint water. So this is not going to happen, right? So they're available in like a 15-ounce size and 11-ounce size. And you order them from the website that's called Pixels. So I just uploaded my design, right? And they will take care of the cup, like the whole printing and sending. It takes 5 to 7 business days to ship, plus the time, to get to you. So if you wanted to order something like this, to get something like this, if you have an artist in your family or your friend, um, you know, support me. So my business. Okay, done with business, done talking with that. Let's start painting. Hi, Anna. How are you? Good to see you here. I am not hopping from so normally what I do is I have my live and I have it together both on the group and the page, and then I go to the separate tabs and I like check what's going on. I'm not doing that right now because it takes a lot of bandwidth from my internet, and then we experience troubles. So let's hope no troubles happen. If something happens, I apologize for this. Something is happening. So if something does happen and you lose connection, I will complete my lesson and I will put it on YouTube, and I'll share links everywhere. Like I send them to your email, to the group, to the page. Which reminds me, if you're not on my Sunday letter, you might want to join that. So you simply go to lubacarlson.com, and a form will pop up that will ask for your email. So if you want to join it so that you have all the news about everything that's happening here, you can do that. All right, let's paint. Who's ready to paint? I'm ready to paint. Give me thumbs up if you're ready to paint. Give me thumbs up if you're excited. I also love hearts and stars and everything, whatever you give me there, I am super excited for it. All right, let us hop onto the desk view. Here we go. All right, so what I'm doing, thank you for the likes. Very much appreciate you guys. So, as you can see, I have no tracer here whatsoever. So this is what I'm doing. No tracer, freehand. Let's just have some fun, okay? So let's talk colors a little bit. For this one, we're gonna need black, white. I forgot to grab it, but I think it's right here. Nope, sorry. I wanna add a little bit of a blue tint to my black, because I think just black might be a little bit boring, a little bit too flat. Let's not say boring, let's say flat. Okay, so I'm gonna use Prussian blue. Okay, what else? Gold. We're gonna need gold. Here we go. Let me see. And for Christmas trees, I did pull this out here. We're gonna need olive green for the trees. All right. Let me turn off the sound on my computer so that it doesn't beep every single time we talk. Is the video stalled or is it me? You guys tell me what's going on. Is it stalled or is it you? I don't know. Sometimes it takes a minute to catch up, and sometimes it's the things that I cannot control, unfortunately. I would love to. Okay, you know what? I'm just gonna jump onto, just hold on just one more second. I'm gonna jump onto the group and see what's going on, because if the video is not coming through, oh my goodness, I have somewhere from Warsaw, Poland. I did not see your comment. Hello and welcome. Okay, so let me know how the video quality is right now. Thank you, Laura. You have fun too. Have a good weekend. Okay, you guys, I think we're good. Okay, let's paint. So we're gonna start with the background. And today I'm painting on canvas board. Let me make sure that it's all lined up for us. All right, so I'm just gonna grab some flat, pretty large brush, and I'm gonna dampen it in the water. And I'm just gonna put a little bit of water on my canvas. So you can do this like this with the brush. Just wake up your canvas. Or you can mist a little bit of water on it. But why we're doing this is because canvas gets super dry. And you've been painting with me before. That's what I do. I am a self-taught. I have no idea if it's the right thing to do, but I did notice that it helps the paint move better on my canvas. And I end up using a lot less paint because then the canvas doesn't like soak in, all of my paint. So I'm thinking that my chapel, is gonna go around here. I'm gonna make it taller and maybe a little bit skinnier. So 3/4 over here. And then over here, I'm gonna have a Christmas tree. A pine tree, really, a pine tree, and then another pine tree, and then another pine tree over here. So that tells me that I only need to paint about a half of the top, about a half painted black. Okay, so I'm going to use a little bit, or maybe a little bit more than a little bit of Prussian blue. And I'm gonna put some black. Oh, Cheryl, I am not having any problems on my side. I'm seeing the group. I'm seeing the group's video, and it's moving okay. I hope you can hear me. All right. So some black. Don't need a lot of paint for this. So I'm gonna mostly grab Prussian blue, and I'm just gonna go up and down strokes like this. Now, if you just wanted to make black, just make it black, okay? There's nothing wrong with that. Okay, so at this here, you see where I am? And now I'm gonna grab some black on the same messy brush and just do the black. Now, it's still gonna look black. It's gonna look black, right? Especially on the camera, especially what you're seeing. But this black is gonna have a different tint to it, not just flat black. It's gonna be a little bit more natural black because, even the blackest night, it's still kind of bluish, right? There is still a little bit of blue to it. And I'm going up and down because I think that I might add stripes later to make it look like a board. I don't know. But I'm going up and down here. I think that's kind of a... And also, so by going up and down, I'm also blending my colors. Okay, let me know how everybody's doing. Looks good from here, says another Cheryl. All right. Okay, so this is gonna sit. We're gonna let the sky dry. I think I want to make it a little bit more of a straight line down. So I'm just gonna go from top to bottom to just level up the paint a little bit, make it a little bit more even. Not the color, the paint. So if you look closely, super closely, and especially if the glare would stop, do you see there's little bits of bluish, like you can see it, right? It's not just black. There's some colors added to it. All right. If you're painting on canvas, this would be a good time to take care of your sides and the bottom. You can just do all of that right now. I'm going to wipe my brush on the paper towel first to just get rid of the excess paint, and then I'm going to clean it up. And the next step is going to be painting the pine trees, Christmas trees. Okay, so we're gonna make them pretty simple. Okay, so you do not need to worry about anything. If you're painting with a tracer, you could, I forgot to mention that, paint around your chapel. Okay. All right, so I am adding a bunch of olive green onto my paper plate or my palette. So I have olive green and I have some white here. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab white on this huge brush, flat brush, and then see how full it is of white. And then I'm gonna add a good amount of olive green. It's in there. This is a lot of paint here, okay? And so all of this goes into a clean spot over here. And I just go dab, dab, pat, pat, because I still want a chisel tip. And I'm gonna start with the top of the first tree. And I'm gonna put it somewhere, let's see, if it's a thirds, can you see my hand? Yeah. So if I break it up into threes, right? So my first tree will start over here where it is a, right here, see the X, what I'm doing here. So this is the spot for my first tree. My second tree is gonna be not in the middle. I'm gonna move it off the center a little bit. So maybe divide it into 4 parts vertically, okay? Vertically 4 parts. So that's going to be over here, and I want my second tree to be up higher. So this is going to be my tall tree right here. Okay. And the small tree, I'm just going to go down and I'm going to make sure that it's lower than this first tree. You see what we did here? So this is called composition. So when you create paintings like this and you have tall points, you want to create some sort of movement. You can go middle, high, low. You could go low, high, middle. Like you want to create some sort of movement so that whomever is looking at a painting, that it creates interest. It makes your eye move. All right. Now let's load the brush with your olive and white mix, and we're going to put the brush on the corner like this and apply pressure and do a swoop, not a big swoop, a small swoop like this. Okay, and a swoop and a swoop, and just keep going down. Do not worry if your swoops are kind of maybe looking a little bit strange. And of course, the black is going to show through. So go back, clean up your swoops a little bit if you need to. Okay, level up your tree. Make sure that it's just the way you like it. Get more paint on your brush and just keep going to the very bottom. So, just like so. Use your strokes to start from the middle. Yeah, but do not worry about it too much. Let me see. Looks like Midnight Navy. You know what? This could, yeah, you could tell that it's Midnight Navy. It's very close. It's very, very dark blue. Okay. So I like to go back and make sure that the top of my tree is really kind of sharp point. Yeah. And so this is what I'm doing. I am just leveling up this paint. It needs to dry before we can move on to something else on this tree. So I'm grabbing a little bit more white, a little bit more of this olive green, same brush. Okay, and I'm gonna do the same thing here with this tree, with the tallest tree, but I'm gonna stop somewhere where my black stops. I'm gonna stop somewhere there because this is where my chapel's gonna go. Don't be afraid to maybe add a little bit more white to it. That's all right. And just stop right here because we're gonna paint the chapel right here, so we don't really need this whole thing. Okay, and now we're gonna do the same thing for the little tree. Don't be afraid to overlap. Okay, and now this tree is also going to go on the other side of the chapel because I want my chapel is going to be right here. So this is also my background in a way. Okay, makes sense? All right. So let's see. Is this getting dry? Not yet. I am not going to worry about it right now. It's all good. Okay, so next step is I'm going to paint the background for the chapel itself, and I'm going to add some more white onto my plate, and I'm going to grab a little bit of black because I want to create gray color to block everything off so that we can create the chapel itself. So what's happening here, y'all, is painting without a pattern, right? If you're painting with a pattern and you already had worked around the chapel, and your chapel is nice and level, and not nice and level. You can see the lines of your chapel, right? So if some of the sky and some of the trees, if all of that got inside of your tracer, then just paint it gray with me. All right. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna start with the first, what's it called? First level, right? The bottom level of this chapel, and I am just gonna start with a rectangle. Not gonna even a little bit taller. Let's make it a taller rectangle. So I'm going to use the chapel that we have in the reference as an inspiration, right? But we're gonna. Oh, I just put my hand on the thing, and just like Bob Ross used to say, it's gonna look ugly before it looks good. So don't worry about it. It's all gonna be good. Okay, so that's my first level. And then somewhere here, right? Yes. So we're gonna do, I think that's called the bell tower. I've been thinking about it. That's since Thursday. We painted it on Thursday, the blue one. And I've been thinking, okay, what are all these parts of the building called? I need to study my building parts. What is it, architecture or something? I don't know. I should ask my niece. She's studying to become an architect, but that wouldn't be helpful very much because she's in Ukraine, and so all she can tell me would be in Russian. Okay, here. There's going to be my roof. Yep. And here is going to be my cross. Do you have to add the cross? No, you do not. But if you want it, there we go. We have set all of our we have set up all of our backgrounds. And oh my gosh, does this look cool? I could have just left it like this, but very, I don't know, like a foggy looking. Doesn't it look cool? Oh my gosh, I just love it. It looks beautiful. I love it with the cross. Thank you, Debbie. I love it with the cross also. Okay. I need to look back at my reference because, here we go. Okay, so in the reference, there is this little piece. Let's put it right here. And here, it's like a roof in the middle of the roof. I don't even know what these are called. Of course I don't. Okay, so there is this piece over here. And as you can see, paints, like everything I have here is pretty wet. And so everything is blending in together and it's hard to see sometimes, right? But we can deal with this. Okay. So let's grab some more gray. And now from this point here, this is the roof. So I kind of made my square a little bit too big, but that's okay because I have trees coming and I have more Christmas trees or, the pines. They're not done. We're just placing where the things are going to be. So that's the roof. So this tree over here, it will go over. So I'm not gonna worry about it at all. Okay. All right. And now I need this to dry. Okay, is your paint all wet? How are you doing? Because yeah, if it's all wet, okay, rinse your brush. We don't want the brush to just sit here and dry, right? So one of my pet peeves is how people sometimes tell you to drop your brush into your water and just let it sit there until you're done and then, clean wash all of that. And I must tell you, I disagree. I respectfully disagree. Debbie says, I love wet on wet painting. The blends you're getting are amazing. I know, Debbie. Thank you for that. I'm thinking that now I will need to paint another one to just play with this wet on wet kind of thing because this is gorgeous. This is not done by any means, but it's gorgeous. Okay, I'm gonna run my heat gun real quick to dry this up, okay? Things that I love about painting acrylics is the fact that you can uh, add layers. It's layers on top of layers on top of layers on top of layers, right? And if something didn't work out the way we wanted it, like over here, right? I have the corner of the building sticking out, and over here, I know that I can add a layer of the tree. The tree goes there. So we can all, this is all good. We can all play with this, and it's a lot of fun, really. If you're using a heat gun, move it fast because you do not want your acrylics to curdle, you know? This is why you see me waving it back and forth. I am literally wondering if using a hair blower, like, good capacity hair blower, if it would work faster. But sometimes you just don't know. And I did put a lot of paint on here, so it's gonna take a while. Especially considering that I want to work on the building, on the chapel itself right now. Okay, we're getting there. I can see it's starting to get matte because I mostly, well, I do use a mix of things, but I'm mixing everything with Deco Art Americana and it dries matte. So I can see it. It's getting there. I use hair dryer on low heat. Yeah, I used to do that, and then I got the heat gun because it's not as loud, and on lives I used to have to. I mean, that's pretty loud, still noisy, right? But it's not super loud. I had to mute myself to dry things with my hair blower because it had like this higher pitch, and if people were listening through headphones, oh, ouch, that was bad. It was just bad, bad, bad. Okay, let's see. How's this? Almost there. So this is why I'm being so thorough with drying this, is because if my paint isn't dry and I start putting more, there's going to be a lot more paint that goes on here. I will start pulling paint, and that is not what I want to do. So I need this coat to be dry to the touch. Also, I don't know if you're aware, the acrylic paints, like, they may feel dry to the touch, but they still need time to cure, which is why you do not want to put anything heavy on your painting for like a couple of weeks and just let it sit and cure. Here in the middle, it's still a little bit wet, but it's warm, so I want to give it time to catch up. All right, I think we're good. I think we are super good. Debbie says yes. The heat gun is much quieter than, yeah. Okay, all right. Ready? Let's move on. Let's do the next step. So originally, this whole chapel is white, but I'm thinking that just plain stark white is not going to work for us due to the whole mood of the painting. So let's make it super light gray. And so I have this gray that I was using to make the background, right? And so, oh, that's my reference, fell down. Here, okay. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna add some more white to this mix, just on top. Okay, and if you have ultramarine on hand, You can add that, or you can add a tiny drop of Prussian blue to just make this kind of cold gray. Okay, so I want cold gray, but I also want it to be super, super light. Okay, so what I'm gonna do here, I'm not gonna use my brush. I'm gonna grab one of my palette knives, and you can mix your colors with the brush. It's just that I find it a lot easier to use a small palette knife, especially if you need to add more and it doesn't mess up your brush, and also you do not end up using, like, then you need to rinse the brush and all of that, you know. Adding a little bit more. I want it to be in the blue range, but still not blue. Hope I'm making sense. Now, if you want to if you want to have more contrast on your painting, you can totally paint it off white. And the way I would do that would be by mixing gold and white together. You know what? Now I'm thinking maybe I want to do that. Who has mixed this like light gray already and is gonna tell me, oh, come on, Luba, really? You're changing directions in the middle of the paint. Like, who does that, right? I do that. Okay, more white. And just a little bit of this gray added to this white. Yes, this is where I want it. See, it's just a tint. This is what I want. All right. Apologies, joining late. I must have hit the wrong link and was on YouTube watching the Light Chapel. Oh, yeah. Well, replays are going to be available, so do not worry if you feel like, oh no, what do I do now? I wanted to paint the other one. So, yeah. Okay. I'm going to paint. I'm going to start with this part over here. This came out like, this is not pure white, but with the contrast with everything, it looks pure white, right? So I'm going to do this part over here with this super light white. And it also shows me that, hey, let's darken this up just a tiny bit. But I'm going to leave this, okay? Let's add a little bit more of this gray. Esther says, love it. You make it look so easy. Your descriptions and explanations are great. Well, thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Okay, let's paint this over here. And you know, like the more you paint, the more your eye will get adjusted to different undertones. And if you're just beginning to paint, all you might be seeing right now is gray and white, right? But the more you paint, the more color you will see. So I'm gonna dip so I painted this bell tower, and I'm gonna dip the chisel tip of my brush into the darker gray that we created first right here, okay? And add it over here to separate the two parts and blend it in. Okay. Yeah. And then use the same darker gray color, add a little bit under the roof. Here and here. And just blend it in. Just work it in. Just work it in. Do not don't overthink this. Yeah, leave a little bit of white here and just add that in. All right. Okay, going back to the lighter gray, and I am just gonna plain paint this part of the chapel right here. So why I'm telling you about the colors thing is because I know I mentioned already, I'm a self-taught artist, and I started painting, I want to say maybe 3 years ago, something like that. And it was an interesting journey that led me to having a group and turning this into a business and all of that. But this is not what I wanted to tell you about. I took my kids to the lake. We have a little lake in the neighborhood. So I took them there. And when we approached the lake, I saw the colors of the water. And what happened was that I realized that I was seeing colors that I was not able to recognize or to identify even as a different color, like even last year. Like to me, it would have been just all blue, right? But then I looked at that lake yesterday and I saw, I think, 3 or 4 different shades of blue in the water. And I knew exactly like what tints it was. I knew exactly like, oh, that has a little bit of pink in it, and this has a little bit of green in it. Like my brain immediately took those colors apart and turned them into, how I would mix my paints to recreate those colors. It was it was insane because I was like, oh my gosh, I really did not expect my brain to be able to do that, and I was not expecting that it would just do it, just walking past something. I wasn't looking for anything to paint. I was just passing by. So again, the more you try, the more you paint, the easier it gets. The easier it gets to see colors, mix colors, and all of that. Debbie says, so pretty. Oh, thanks. All right. Same messy brush, chisel tip in the darker gray that we have underneath the roof, that kind of trapezoid looking roof. Just blend, 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 and keep blending going under that other roof, the other roof that just goes down. Blend, blend, blend. Okay, I feel like I need to extend, so I'm just going to wipe my brush on a paper towel, grab some of this lighter gray. I think I need to extend this roof over here just a little bit over. Maybe a little bit too much, but I kind of want it there. I'll use the tree to adjust that I don't like. Okay, working with the darker gray. Yeah, under the roof. That's the shade. It's always shade under the roof. Okay. All right, and Okay, so we have 3 entrances that I'm going to create right now. So the first entrance stops about halfway through here, and it's kind of rounded. So I'm just gonna do it like this. Lots of wet on wet, right? And the other 2, they have triangular roofs. So I'm just gonna do this to kind of do placement. And this is a whimsical payment. So payment. A whimsical painting. It does not need to be perfectly symmetrical, perfectly anything. We're doing this for fun. Okay, now there is a triangular roof above this rounded entrance. Here we are. Okay, this darker gray goes again with the lighter gray, trying to create another tint, a little bit darker than the lighter one, but not as dark as the shadow. Does it make sense? And I want this color here in between the doorways, under the roof, just kind of add a little bit. Super wet on wet. So use your very light brush handling, right? Do not put too much pressure on your brush. Okay, I think I know what's wrong with this. This is the wrong angle. That's why it's bothering me. Let's see. Yep, got it. All right. We're getting there. All right, and there is another window here in the bell tower. Am I correct? Yep, and it's not the rounded one. It's the one with the angled roof. So I'm going to grab some of that darker gray, and I'm going to put that little kind of triangle, not triangle, but kind of an angle up, and then create space for this one. Okay, grab a little bit more of this lighter gray. If you did the cross, go at it and make it lighter so that you can still see it. Okay, and I lost my camera, didn't I? Okay, do you guys still see me? Mimi here. Looks like I lost my table camera. You see me? Okay. Let's see what we can do. All right, hold on. I apologize. I am not even sure what went wrong. But that gives us time to dry the painting and have a break. So give me a minute, okay? Let's see, maybe this will bring us right back. Okay, you should be able to see it. Let me know. Excuse me. Sam says, in college, I studied color theory. It helped. Yeah, in college, I studied math. I have master's in math and I have a bachelor's in education. So, yeah, in college, I studied math. See two cameras views now. Perfect. Thank you, Esther. Thank you. Prita, do you see us? Let's make sure it's all working. Okay, let's try and do just that other camera now. Ta-da! I think we're back. Okay, this is my charger cord. Let's plug it back in. All right, I appreciate your patience, you guys. Sometimes, well, I mean, the last couple, well, more than a couple, honestly, a couple more, more than a couple of my broadcasts have experienced lots of issues like that, but at least we were able to reconnect so we can continue. Well, we need to dry this anyway, so I'm gonna start drying. And before I start drying, I'm gonna wash my brush, clean it up so that it doesn't end up with a big mess. Okay, drying. Okay, I see Prita can see us, so yay, awesome. Everybody can see us. Wonderful. Okay, I'm drying more on the inside of those windows and doorways because this is the next thing that I'm gonna paint. All right. And everything else can dry and gonna dry on its own time. So you know what? I showed you this old gold. I thought I was gonna use it, but really, I have, if I find it right now, I have this other gold that I really, really love to use. And if you ever have a chance to, and if you like painting in gold, guys, glorious gold, deco art, best thing ever. Okay, I am not selling deco art, just kind of to be clear, okay? I'm just sharing. So I'm gonna grab a filbert. A filbert, I think it's a size 6 or maybe 8. It really doesn't say. But rounded brush like this makes it easier to cut in the corners for me. So use what you like and we'll use what you have, you know? Okay, let's grab some gold. And we're just gonna paint. I put a little bit too much water on my paintbrush. Here, perfect. Okay, and so the top and all the bottom ones. If it is super hard for you to cut into the lines, like you feel like you're painting over the lines, don't worry about it because we will go over those lines again with super dark gray or almost black, let's say. So it is really not going to matter that if you make made your lines not as crisp. Okay. You see why I love this glorious gold? It's amazing. It's a beautiful, beautiful color. And also this paint, this is why I like it also. It's great for stenciling. So if you like to stencil, so far, Deco Art Americana, to me, it was the best stenciling paint. There's probably others. I try not to buy all the brands I can find out there. I'm already running out of space in my room with all the supplies I have, and I'm sure you can relate because it's like, oh, I need this, right? And then you use it once, and then it sits there sometimes until next year. And yeah, you need it next year also. You will use it next year, but it still has to sit somewhere until you need it again. So that's what happened with Snow Text for me. I tried it, I loved it. I used it a lot last year, and now it's sitting. And I'm really not using it a lot this year. So it's just sitting. And I'm sure I'll find something to use it for. Just kind of a thing, you know? All right. So I'm just going from top down, applying light pressure, just evening out my gold. Okay. Deco art is thicker and covers better. Yes, I agree with that. I think they have more pigment in their paint, which is why it gives you better coverage. And I absolutely love their titanium white because I use a lot of white, and it just does it because it mixes with everything beautifully and it's very smooth. I just love it. Okay, enough of that, right? Okay. So let's allow the chapel some time to dry and sit and kind of, get into the mood of Christmas. So while the chapel is sitting, we're gonna work on the trees. And for the trees, I highly, highly recommend using a round brush. Let me find what I have in mind here. Probably something like a size 6 or maybe even 8. Do I have an 8? No, I have a 12. That's a 12. That's a 10. A 10 would work also. So see the difference? And it means the wideness, the width of your stroke. I do that sometimes. I make up words as I go because yeah, it's not my first language, as you can hear. And so yeah, sometimes I come up with things that really don't make any sense. So one of the funny things that I said when I first moved to the States, and I did speak some English, I couldn't remember the word. We don't have these in Ukraine. Didn't have them in Ukraine when I moved. Bubble wrap, right? So the only way I could call them was wrapping bubbles. And my husband had the best time with that. He was like, that was the funniest thing for him. Okay, I'm gonna grab my number 10 round brush. If you do not, okay, here's right away. If you do not have a round brush, you can achieve the same look. You would need a bigger, like a number 8 or 10 filbert, and you would need to use it on the side like this. You see how it spreads as I push it? Okay, and what am I thinking? Another thing is, if, like, whatever you have, right? Use what you have. If you have an angular brush, it will also create a very cool line for you. Okay, so we're gonna start with this tree right here, the one, okay, the one on the left for me. Okay, I'm thinking though, so I do not, so the chapel is clear forward, it's in front of everything, right? So I do not want any of my tree on the chapel wall. So what can we do? We can use painter's tape. We can use painter's tape, and we can use painter's tape. Yeah, I'm just making fun. Okay, what we can use is just a piece of printer paper. Okay, just make sure that what you're laying it on is dry. I have just one piece over here. It'll be fine. Here, I'll just take it off. There, it's fine. Okay, so just lightly push it, put it down. Don't try not to press on it at all. Just lay it down, okay? And it will help you to create your nice strokes and not be afraid. So when you're afraid, you kind of stop the stroke midway. Yeah, we can't do that. Okay, we need to make the stroke go all the way through to make it look like the tree. If we stop midway, it'll show. Okay, so here's what we're doing. Around the brush, we have some of this gray left, and we're going to incorporate it into what we're doing to help. You know what? Let's go even with the darker gray. I'm just going to go, because I really like doing what do you call that? Four-tone Christmas tree. I start with the darkest, and then I go lighter, 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 and then it has this dimension to it. Okay. So, see, it's not blended paint. It's a mess, and that's what we want. We want a mess, and we're gonna start on the bottom. Okay. And so from the bottom, put pressure, and start creating those Christmas, those pine tree kind of going up and down. So what I'm doing is I'm starting at the top, yeah, and I'm adding branches. Again, top. And so I'm doing this upside down, so that I can put things on top of each other. See, they stack up now. Just okay. And when my brush doesn't want to glide anymore, I know that it means that it's too dry. So I need to get some water, put some water on the brush. And so see, like I started here, this is my middle, and the market is my middle, and I'm going up, and I'm a little bit off here. That's okay. We can go a little bit up higher, and we can fix it. Not a big deal. A little bit more water on my brush just to make sure that everything is moving nicely. Okay, and as I'm getting higher and higher, I'm gonna start doing smaller strokes just to There we go, just like that. Okay, and so now I'm gonna take my paper off of here, and I'm gonna grab more paint, and I'm gonna finish the top so that it doesn't look. Okay, bring the paper back. Let's cover the roof right here, because I had made a mess a little bit on that side. So just like that. See what it did? Nice, huh? Got the tree. We've got our first tree. Okay, now we're gonna use the same way. We're gonna go do this one and this one again. let's try this. How about this? I've been blabbering about things. Is there sound now? Oh boy. Okay, let's try again. Let me know. Can you hear me now? Thank you for letting me know that we lost sound like 3 minutes ago. I've been blabbering and going on about how black is. Ah, black. Okay, back now. Oh, awesome. You know what? And now you're gonna get an echo. Are you getting echo now? Ay. Okay. All of this fun stuff. Let's see. How about now? No echo. Okay. I guess it's something on my side then. All right. You know what? I'm just gonna keep it like this. I'm just gonna turn you around a little bit. This camera is about there. Okay, we're just gonna keep it like this for now. Just cross your fingers, everybody. Everybody, cross your fingers. All right, so I've been blabbering for the last 4 minutes about how black is something that stops your eye in the painting. So if you look at the painting, black is where you stop. It doesn't let you move. And why I was telling you this is because I was creating this mix of a little bit of white, Prussian blue, and black to make the siding. Okay. So, yeah, I do not want to use just black. Black is boring. There's a lot more options to create things. Okay. So I'm using a small flat brush. I don't know if you heard me about that. Small flat brush, chisel tip. And I'm just going to paint the siding, and I'm just going to try and make it evenly spaced, just like the siding would be, just by touching the end of the brush. Do I want those lines to be perfect? Nope. So somewhere I'm going to let them break. And somewhere I'm going to paint them like the whole way through, like here. All right. So look, when we put it on the painting, it looks black, right? But it's just another shade of that's just another shade. Okay. All right. No siding goes on this roof over here. That's going to stay white. And now I'm going to start by painting a dark line under. And you see, like, I'm making it messy. It's not a flat line. I'm making it messy on purpose. Because once you start adding lines like that, like messy lines on purpose, it kind of allows you to add more messy lines. If you start going and like your lines are like computer done, right? Like a machine did it. That's a whole different vibe. So let's just add. Just keep moving slowly. Breathe. Yeah. Put your feet on the ground. Okay. So yeah, I'm going to finish on the sides over here. I'm just going to continue with the same distance. for my siding on the sides, right here. Okay, and then I'm going to show you what I'm going to do in between those doors. We're going to change that up just a tiny bit. Okay, so I'm going to bring this up higher. So you see that we have all the siding and they're not even, right? The lines are messy. Okay, I don't want you to worry about that. All right. And then I'm grabbing a little bit more paint on my brush. So for this area around here, I'm going to stack the siding a little bit. Stack it up. So I'm gonna put my first line over here. See how we have this line and this line right here? I'm gonna go in between. Okay? And then the one that goes higher also goes in between. So I'm gonna keep the same distance for the siding, right? But it's gonna be a little bit off. And what it does is that it allows, like, for, let's say, perspective, like things are not, yeah, so that there's some movement, there is some volume to it, like it brings it up forward a little bit, right? So it's not flat. Okay. There we go. Okay, now I'm going to use the same color and the same messy brush. And I'm going to go up here and kind of outline the roof. This place, right, that we have around the window. The walls. Okay, this other tiny roof over here. Okay, and then this one. And this. And that. And the doorways. See how it all made it look a little bit, oh, that's too far. A little bit more crisp. But it doesn't need to be all even and the same looking. Okay. All right, rinse out your brush. Okay, let's grab a smaller round brush. So I have a 6. We're gonna work on the trees. And if you need more olive green or any other green that you're using. I'm putting more olive green on my palette. Make your brush wet. Grab some of the paint, maybe even add some water to it. This is easier. Add some water to it so that your paint glides nicely and doesn't just hold up. It depends on the brand also. So this paint is a little bit thicker. So, okay. And we're going to start at the bottom of the tree. And we're just going to add strokes here and there in this dark olive green. Just here and there, and just leave it for now. And then go and do that. Go ahead and do that with your other tree. I'm going to go up on the top and kind of shape the top a little. Make the top the way I like it. And then I'm going to do this other one starting from the center down. Okay, go back, grab more green. Now go back to the first tree and kind of step back a little bit and see, like, so I'm leaning back to get more distance so that I can see where I would like to add some other strokes. And I'm moving from the top now to the bottom. So this is a very primitive Christmas tree or pine tree, right? I like it. It's not done yet. Okay, and so now we're going to do the same thing with the tree that's behind the chapel. Just look at it and see what you would like to add to it, maybe. And then we're going to finish and add a little bit more strokes to the tree that sits here on the right-hand side. Moving from top to bottom. Just fix it as you go. Add things that you like to it. Okay, got it? Rinse out this brush. Okay, now we're going to use just white. We're going to add white snow. But before we do that, listen, we're going to add snow to the chapel. And hopefully, when we're done with the chapel, the trees will be dry. If the trees are not dry, we'll need to dry them so that our white doesn't mix with the green. Okay. So for the chapel, I'm just gonna put some snow just like this. I'm using the same round brush, number 6, and I'm just dabbing just on top of it. Just dab, dab, just like this. Okay. And then, like, all the triangular roofs are going to get some snow. This big roof over here definitely gets a whole lot of snow. Oh, I just carried a whole bunch of paint. Okay. So that gets a whole lot on the top.
Does anyone want sauce?
Okay. Something like that. And I am not going to cover the whole thing in snow. I'm just going to leave it over here. Do you see the space that I left? Let me lift it up higher. Yeah, right here. Okay. So that suggests that that's a snow. It's not just flat white sitting there. Okay. So next is this roof right here. This line. Picked up a little bit of green, so I'm going to clean it up on the paper towel. Okay, grab some more and put it on the other side. And then we're going to add some to this roof over here. And you see, this is why I didn't worry about this part over here, because I knew that I was going to add snow on top of it. So it really wasn't like a big deal for me, right? So just add snow there. Whoops, and it's disappeared. It's gone. Doesn't matter that it was there. Okay, and here. And you can even add more snow on one side than on the other. That means that probably there was more wind coming from one side, and so they got more snow on one side. You know, like that maybe. Just make sure that it's consistent with every window and every little roof that you have here. Okay. All right. Grab a little bit of this darker gray on the very tip, not even like wipe it off, just a little bit if you want to do that. Okay, just a little bit. Now look what I'm doing, and then decide if you want to add that. Just a little bit of that's a little bit too dark, but I'll just, yeah, just kind of adds this like volume to it, right? That there is something in there, that it's not just an empty bright light box, right? There is something in there, something's happening in there. Okay, so we're doing good. All right, let's dry up those trees. Okay, so while we're working on our trees, I want to ask you this question. Do you guys want me to show you how to make an easy wreath that will go right here in the middle? Let me know. It won't take long to paint. So if you guys want it, we'll do it. If not, then we'll just move on to something else. All right, let's add snow to the trees. We're gonna use, no, not this one, the smaller one, the number 6. I'm gonna use the same number 6, white paint. Definitely a lot of snow goes on the top, because that's where it sits, on the top and the other top. Okay, and the thing with this is that you just want to try and avoid being symmetrical. So just add random pieces of snow that sits on branches. Okay.
You can eat all that corn yourself, look at even sure.
And then just keep going.
Then you most corn.
And if you want to add, like make the snow look more like the tops, then you go back with your brush and then you kind of smudge, smudge, smudge this around. See what I'm doing? Just like shaky hand, just super light. Hold the brush at the wrong side so that you do not apply too much pressure. And you can just add like more, maybe it will be more, a little bit more natural looking snow, maybe. Okay. I need more white to do this. Would love to know how to do wreath. Yes, of course. Let's do that. That would be fun. And I promise it's easy. So don't worry about it at all. Wreaths can be complicated when you paint them on like a large scale. And you try to paint every single detail in them and all of that. But considering the scale of this painting, this chapel is pretty small, right? And so the wreath would also be pretty small. And so there's not that many details, really. It's really not that hard. Okay. Yeah, I'm dropping paint there. Oh boy, I am dropping paint. I'm not waiting for it to stop dripping off of my paintbrush, and I'm just pulling it in. All right, so while you're working with white, if you wanted to add white, like the snowy white under like the border over here, that would be the time to do that. Just yeah, just like this. So the only don't here is try to avoid sharp angles and don't make it flat line. Give it volume. Paint the first coat of your white. If you do not want to do that, then obviously don't do that. It's fine. I just think that it kind of unifies this whole winter thing. Okay, and then let this paint dry. Okay. And then when this paint is dry, you can always come back and you can add snow text. You can add glitter to everything that's white. It's up to you, right? Okay, let's do a wreath. So usually the hardest thing that people struggle with is the shape because it's round. So I just use a medicine cup, just an empty medicine cup. See over here. So you kind of see for the size, this will work. Maybe sometimes the bottom would work. Yeah. Find something round. What could help? If you don't have a medicine cup, if you have a tube of paint, this lid would probably be the right size. Deco art, right? Another circle, different size that you can use. Look around, look, see what you have. Okay, so I am simply going to grab this cup and I'm gonna, hopefully, I have a little bit left of this. Yeah, I'm just dipping it in whatever's left over from my olive green paint. Okay, and I'm gonna line this up with the cross because I put more snow on here, so it's off just a little bit, but there. And we have our circle. Okay. If you're like me and you like to reuse your things, just grab a baby wipe or a damp paper towel, wipe it off, and this baby cup will be available to you whenever you're ready to do something else with it. Okay? Next, we're gonna need, I want to say, a spotter brush. If you do not have a spotter brush, it's the same as a super small round brush, but the bristles are shorter. So you can just use like a number 0 round brush. I'm trying to find it, and I think I've misplaced it. But yeah, you need something super small. Okay. And we're gonna go ahead and grab some more of this olive green because this is what we've been using here. Some of this olive green, some water, grab a tiny bit of black, tiny bit of olive green, mix. We're gonna need a darker olive green to start with. Okay, got this? So this is what I'm using. And like I'm just making little leaves like this. Just make some space between them. And don't change the direction. Just keep going this way. Just, if you need to turn your painting, go ahead and do that. Sometimes I turn it, sometimes I don't. It kind of depends on how things are going, but I think I can do this. Okay, so there's your wreath. That's the base. Okay, I see a comment. Hold on. Here I am nodding as you show us the different tools we can use for a circle. I feel you nodding. I can see you nod, but I'm like, okay, good. Okay, so we have the base color, right? Now we're gonna grab a little bit of white, and we just need a tiny bit because we're painting a tiny little wreath. A little bit of this olive green, okay, and whatever blue you have. Like I have a little bit of this Prussian blue left, so I'm just adding a little bit of that on here to just kind of create a different tone for the leaves. Okay, and I'm just gonna paint that right on top. So some of the new leaves are gonna go right on top of the old leaves, and some of them are gonna go in between the old leaves. Okay. All right, so here's our wreath. So the wreath is obviously sitting behind this snow. So we kind of I need to grab my white again and bring this back up, right? So the wreath is hiding behind the snow. Okay, and it's hanging on top of this little roof over here, so that's fine. Okay, now we did not say that we're gonna need a red, but if you have a red, hold on, let me find it. I really like this one, Cadmium Red Deep Hue. I really like this for like everything What am I trying to say here? Everything Christmas red. It's been working great for me. I'm not even going to put it on my palette. Okay. So I'm just going to grab a little bit on the wrong side of my brush. And I'm going to find a spot on my wreath. And I'm just going to add 3 dots. And then I'm going to do it maybe here. And maybe here. Ta-da! We have a wreath. See? Didn't take us long at all. Wasn't hard. Here, let's bring this up higher so you can see. Okay, see, there's like different colors and everything. Okay. All right, so last touch, something that I almost forgot, the small round brush, which I have no idea what I did with it. Here is small round brush. We forgot to put some snow on the cross. Now the crosses are not usually that big, right, or thick. So it would probably just put some snow up here and maybe a little bit of snow over here, and that's it. If it snowed real heavy, right? Okay, and now, of course, your choice. If you want to add snowdrops, I would make them good size. So I'm using this wrong side of my brush, and I'm just going to add dots, random dots. Do one at a time, and always move your arm somewhere else, because when we put lots of dots together, we tend to try to space them evenly. It's kind of in the brain. So you want to do different, change direction. Every time you go, every time you put the dot in, change your direction. I forgot to change directions. Okay. Dots, dots, dots. And I think this looks good. Okay, so I want to see your paintings. I'm not even asking, I'm just telling you that I want to see your paintings. You can put them as a comment here. You can put them in the group, just create a new post. I've been doing the add your painting to the album, and I noticed that for most people it's just easier to post it as a comment. So let's just do that. It's been working pretty well. Rhonda says, can't wait to watch the replay for all I missed. Of course. So yes, so all you know, if you need to know this, replays, that usually takes me a while because it's a big video and it takes a while to download and then upload it on YouTube. It takes a few hours. I will put it up there as soon as I have it. Do not forget to get a cup for your friend or yourself if you need one. All right, and I will see you if you're interested in that. We're painting the cardinal. We're painting Christmas cardinal on Thursday. And I think I got my calendar right this time. So I think we're going to do it when we're supposed to do it. All right, you guys, have a great rest of the weekend, and I will talk to you later. Right? Bye.